Thank you for joining us for our presentation titled Findings from Our Journey in Increasing Potential and Widening Horizons, Promoting Undergraduate Research at a 2-year regional campus.
My name is Liz Easley, and I started working at USC Lancaster during the fall 2013 semester. I am currently an associate professor of exercise science at USCL, and I got my PhD in exercise science from the University of Kentucky.
I am Dr. Sarah Selhorst, and I am currently a professor of exercise science and the division chair for the Math, Science, and Nursing and Public Health Division at USC Lancaster. This year, I'm finishing up my 13th year at USCL. I received my PhD in exercise physiology from the University of Pittsburgh.
The USC Lancaster campus is a commuter-based, open enrollment, rural campus. Currently, the enrollment is approximately 1,800 students. USC Lancaster is primarily a 2-year school. Many of the degrees we offer are associate degrees. However, there are a growing number of 4-year programs. A high number of our students are considered at risk. Additionally, a high percentage of our students are first-generation college students. First generation means that neither parent has a 4-year degree. USC Lancaster is part of Palmetto College. Palmetto College is part of University of South Carolina's statewide network. This encompasses the 2-year campuses as well as USC's online degree completion programs. Other campuses that are part of Palmetto College include the USC Salkehatchie campus, USC Sumter, USC Union, and USC Palmetto Columbia.
So what does a faculty member actually do? What is the job description for a professor? Many of us have many ideas about what actually goes on in the role of being a professor. However, the actual job involves putting all of these roles together. And so let's talk a little bit about what a faculty member actually does. What does their job encompass? In reality, a faculty member's responsibilities include, of course, teaching. And 60% of our time here on the Palmetto College campuses is spent doing just that, teaching students. This includes teaching in class. This includes laboratory classes. This includes meeting with students to discuss study habits, meeting with students in office hours, and sometimes volunteering our time to actually tutor students to help them do better in their classes. 20% of that time is spent on scholarship. And scholarship is a little bit different than what you may think. Scholarship is the academic work that the professor does. So this is going to be, for some of us, laboratory research. For some, it's going to be writing and disseminating that information. Even for others, it's going to be talking in focus groups and doing art. So scholarship can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people. And so that's what makes it probably the most confusing part of our job description. For me, as an exercise scientist, a lot of my scholarship revolves around actually having participants come into a lab and measuring body composition, measuring weight, measuring height, all of these kinds of things. And then taking the time to actually write those findings up so that we are able to disseminate that and add that to the body of knowledge that exists for exercise research. And then lastly, 20% of our time is spent on service. And service is going to be that just kind of what it says. How do we serve the campus community? How do we serve students? That could be through advising. How do we serve the campus? That could be serving on different committees that do work to make things better for the campus community. And also could be service to the profession. So where we spend time actually serving on committees for different associations and conferences, where we are reviewing different articles and different pieces of work for accuracy and things of that nature.
So again, when we discuss scholarship, we don't mean money that's received to pay for tuition and fees. In reality, scholarship is those scholarly activities. Maybe it's coming up with a research question or a proposal to create something within a discipline, and then working through that problem to create a final product to share with others. On the USC Lancaster campus, we have a strong culture of using students as research assistants. And there's a lot of reasons that professors would want to do this, but one of the reasons is that involving students in research has shown to be a high impact practice in education. This means that it's going to benefit the students' learning beyond the classroom. So this is considered an integrative learning activity, where the goal would be to apply beyond the classroom activities so that students can connect their learning from within the classroom.
The Council on Undergraduate Research, which is the premier organization that supports institutions and undergraduate researchers, defines undergraduate research as an inquiry or investigation conducted by an undergraduate student that makes an original, intellectual, or creative contribution to the discipline.
So one example of including undergraduate research assistants in a scholarship project was the SMART study. The SMART study took place during the 2018-2019 academic year. SMART is an acronym that stands for Student Mobile Anthropometric Research Team. And so we had a team of students that were working on anthropometric research, which basically means body size. The mobile aspect of it is that we were moving our research space all over the Lancaster campus. One day we were in the student center, one day we were in the library, another time we were in the founder's lobby. And so for this research study, our student researchers were taking measurements of height, weight, body circumferences, even measuring body fat using bioelectrical impedance analysis. These students were also distributing a fitness tracker survey to find out how many students were using fitness trackers and what kind of data were they receiving from those trackers. Additionally, we distributed an undergraduate research awareness and knowledge survey because we wanted to know if students on the Lancaster campus were aware of undergraduate research opportunities and also how confident they were in participating in these types of activities. So here I want to go over some of the results from the undergraduate research knowledge and awareness survey. 83 full-time traditional aged college students were surveyed. 73 of those students were in their first or second year of college. You'll see that most of the students surveyed responded that they were aware that there were opportunities for undergraduate research on our campus. but far fewer, only 11%, had actually participated in undergraduate research beyond the classroom. Most students did not realize that faculty were required to complete research as part of their job, and students were not aware that they could serve as a research assistant for faculty members. And then if we look at confidence levels, 39% of students said they felt moderately confident in their ability to serve as a research assistant under faculty supervision, but 51%, so just more than half, said that they had no confidence or only slight confidence in their ability to approach a faculty member to ask if they could work with them. And looking at motivating factors, so what are the things that would encourage students to participate in undergraduate research? 59% of students rated peers or friends participating with you as the most important factor that would increase their confidence to participate in undergraduate research, which was part of the idea of having a whole team of researchers, these students working together and relying on each other. 28% rated if an instructor approached you to help them as most important. So many people felt that if an instructor came up and asked them directly, that would be an important motivating factor. 71% of students agreed or strongly agreed with the statement, "Seeing my peers conduct research improves my confidence that I could do the same," which again was the idea behind this SMART study, where we were showing up on different areas or at different areas on campus to kind of put research in action in front of Lancaster students. The top potential motivating factors for participating in undergraduate research were to gain job experience, to potentially earn academic credit. So we do have independent study options where research can be done as part of a course, or for hourly pay. Lower motivating factors were things like the desire to actually learn about a research subject or gain experience for grad school or just participating for their own enjoyment.
In 2018, we changed our focus slightly and wanted to look at the faculty perceptions of undergraduate research at predominantly two-year institutions. How did the faculty perceive undergraduate research? What did they look for in students? And so we embarked on a 4-campus tour to introduce and collect data on the faculty perceptions. 78 participants representing 4 different campuses took our survey, and the faculty actually answered a 27-question survey aimed at identifying barriers and benefits of undergraduate research, as well as quantifying faculty perceptions. This is something that has not been reported in the literature, and so we were very interested in looking at the idea of faculty perceptions, especially at two-year institutions. Even though that this study was about faculty perceptions of undergraduate research, we used undergraduate researchers to input the data. And so this is just a little shameless plug on how you can implement undergraduate research, even in studies that perhaps are not focused on undergraduates.
So as we begin to analyze the data, the top 3 barriers to undergraduate research from a faculty perspective were time, funding, and then some things in the other categories. So when we look at time, 82.4% of people that were surveyed identified that as a barrier, which makes sense. Scholarship takes time. It takes even more time when we're working with undergraduate students. Undergraduate students need that extra mentorship. Sometimes they don't have the classes they need yet. And so time seems like an obvious barrier that would be included. Limited funding for undergraduate students is also an issue. We want to make sure that students are either able to be paid for their hourly work or have funding to travel to present at conferences or pay for their posters to be printed. So having access to funding can also be an issue. The most common factors that came up within the other category were lack of discipline-specific students or lack of student interest, so 17 individuals included that, and then equipment and facility issues were also included. When we talk about lack of discipline-specific students, we can understand how that would be a barrier. As exercise scientists, there are very few exercise science majors on our campus. And so out of the 20-some students that we have mentored over the last couple of years, only about 20%, so 4 to 5 students were exercise science. So we look to other similar disciplines such as nursing for some of that crossover knowledge, and those students in the nursing discipline seem to be interested in the type of research we do. But we've also had students far outside of our discipline, such as chemical engineering, participate in our research studies just to learn about the research process. So while time, funding, and lack of discipline-specific students or student interest are major barriers, there's some major benefits for faculty when they consider why they would participate in undergraduate research. So when we asked, what are the top 3 benefits to you as a faculty member participating in undergraduate research? One of the things that people responded was an increase in motivation of the faculty. Faculty members enjoy working with undergraduate students. It's exciting and it's fun. And so this was something that was often reported. We also look at it from a recruitment aspect. So having scholarly activities available for prospective students is a huge plus in recruiting students to come to our campuses. Students on small campuses like USC Lancaster or the other 2-year campuses have an opportunity to participate in these activities early in their collegiate career, which may not happen at a 4-year institution. Faculty members also report increased job satisfaction as a benefit of participating in undergraduate research with student researchers. And this kind of goes back to that increased motivation because it's fun and it's rewarding to see young scholars grow in the field. One last comment regarding benefits identified from this faculty perspective survey. Coming in at a close 4th, help with my scholarly agenda was cited by just over half of the faculty surveyed. When we divided the group of individuals that participated in this survey into those that had recently mentored students versus those that hadn't, 70% of those that had mentored students in the last 5 years identified this as a benefit. So when considering what advice that we would give to faculty members about undergraduate research, we'd say, try it.
So what should students take away from these combined surveys? First, ask questions and get involved. Get involved in your class and on campus. If there's a specific class that you really enjoy, ask the professor if they're doing any scholarly work this semester that they may be able to include you on. Or if you have an idea for a scholarly project, ask them if there's some way that you could complete that scholarly project under their supervision. Here's a little hint. Professors love to be flattered. Tell them that you love their class. ask them what you could do to learn more about that subject. Also, don't be intimidated or shy about approaching faculty. Faculty are just the same as you. They love learning, they love the subject that they teach, and they've spent a lot of time working on it. And so they love it when students approach them to talk more about something they enjoy. Don't be intimidated or shy thinking that maybe they will think that you aren't the right type of person to be involved in this project, or maybe you aren't smart enough to work with them. None of that is true. And I'll be the first to tell you, none of us think that. So don't be afraid to approach faculty and just ask them questions about something that they love. The reason why they're teaching that subject and the reason why they spent so much time learning about that subject is because they love it. And we all love to talk about the things that we enjoy. Also, the last thing, we all like to say we don't have time. Even professors, we all say we don't have time. In reality, you have time for the things that you enjoy. And so if you want to participate in undergraduate research, let me explain to you, you have the time. Everybody could carve out 5 hours a week, 2 hours a week. That's all you need. And so you all have time. And we all have time too.
So what is the takeaway for faculty members? First of all, students are intimidated to approach you. Be willing to suggest these opportunities to students. Of course, time is a barrier, as mentioned on our survey. One option is to utilize the course load reduction for scholarship that is available to you on all Palmetto College campuses. Of course, another way to look at it is that involving undergraduate researchers in your scholarship really does help you reach your scholarly goals and move your scholarly agenda forward. And finally, funding is a common barrier. Options include applying for grants through the Office of the Vice President for Research, such as RISE or ASPIRE. There are also smaller grants available to support students, either for hourly research work or to support their travel. Again, available through the Office of Undergraduate Research. So the Magellan Voyager, the Magellan Scholar, and the Magellan Mini Grant.
If you have any questions about the material we presented today, please feel free to email us at our respective email addresses. You can find those here on the slide. Also, take time to follow us on Instagram. The USCL Research Club is always involved in doing something exciting, and you can see what that is on the Instagram page. We like to highlight research and student scholarly activities that are going on across campus. So make sure that you follow us on Instagram for all of the latest information.